Hey, welcome back. Today I'm sitting down with an agent who has built her business by mastering leverage, from solo agent struggles to training others on how to scale with VAs, and now partnering with the Wolfpack at eXp. This story is packed with lessons you won't want to miss. I'm so excited to bring on the one, the only Briana Paskins. My guest today is Briana Paskins, based in Arizona. Briana has grown her real estate business by creating systems and showing other agents how to hire and train virtual assistants the right way. She's a mentor, a leader, and now part of the Wolfpack at eXp, where she's helping agents gain freedom and scale their business. Briana, I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me on. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we'll jump right in. So, you started your career as a solo agent. What challenges did you face early on that made you realize that you need better systems and leverage?
Yeah, so I started late 2020, like the early 2021. And that time the market was on fire, right? Like leads were coming in at me left and right. And I thought, this is easy. Like I can do this for the rest of my life, right? Like I don't need
Yeah,
any.
it was easy to make money for sure.
So, but when the market shifted and I was running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, and I was just like, and when you're the real estate agent, you're doing all the roles in the business. I was the marketing team, the transaction coordinator, the showing agent, the social media manager, right? Like the list goes on. It's basically like 10 jobs in one. And at the time, I thought, if I was just busy and you know, things and on the go, showing houses, doing the things, that I was being productive. But really, I was just going in circles. I was really never focusing on like one client. Not that we need to, but just creating the experience for the client and having things create, like a system. But I didn't really know what having a system was because I just jumped into the market and it was just going fast and I was
Right.
keeping up, right? So, like I said, that worked for a little while because the market was so hot. You could literally trip and fall into a lead. Like any way you turned, you're like, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. Great, right? But as soon as, like I said, the market shifted, it exposed all of the gaps in my business. And I realized what my business was lacking. Leads started slipping through the cracks and I wasn't following up consistently and I was exhausted, right? So
Yeah.
that's when I realized, like, okay, this isn't sustainable. I can't just work harder. I need better systems and also leverage. So otherwise, I just was going to end up burning out if I didn't try to focus on that. So I think the turning point for me was realizing that I needed to start working on my business and not just in my business by creating systems and using funnels and things like that I didn't know nothing about when I started.
I do think that that time was whether you were a new agent or not, because even me, like I wasn't new, but it was really easy to make money at that time. So I think we all kind of got spoiled. And I know that there are agents who have fell kind of into the same place that you were in. I felt like that for a little while too, and it's hard to get back to it too, as somebody who was in before that time. So, yeah, I totally understand, and I think a lot of people watching will understand that completely.
Definitely.
Um, yeah. So you're known for helping agents hire and train virtual assistants. What was your first experience like with a VA, and how did it change your business?
So, hiring at first, or just even the thought of hiring, was terrifying, right? I stalled for a very long time because I was in this mindset of like, no one can do it like me, right? The idea of like delegating gave me anxiety because I wanted to have control over everything. I was the only one doing everything the way I wanted to do it, when I wanted to do it, where I wanted to do it. Like, I was the only one making those decisions. So, giving someone else that is what stalled me for a very long time. But eventually I realized that, again, it wasn't sustainable to continue playing all the roles. And if I
Yeah.
wanted to run my business like an actual business, all the brick and mortars that we see, I had to let go of some of that control. Um, And the frustrating part was when I actually started doing research on how to hire a VA, I wanted to make sure I was prepared, right? Like anything else I do, I always do my research, but there wasn't really any much out there to learn from. No one to really like piggyback off of and follow their footsteps
Yeah.
on what they did. So it wasn't like hiring a coach or learning scripts or um, where you could go on Google and create a framework or follow a plan. Like there was really not much. And I would hear stories of other agents who had been through 3 or even 4 or 5 virtual assistants. And I thought, like, okay, there has to be a better way than just throwing people at the wall and seeing if they stick. I didn't know what they did and if they did that, but to me, I was like, that's a lot of people to go through, right? In your business. So I got really intentional with it and I asked myself, like, what systems can I set up from the beginning to set them up for success? Like, how do I make my hiring process more structured so that I don't have to burn through VAs and waste money and waste time? So,
Yeah.
when I finally hired my virtual assistant, I started her with like small tasks, editing and scheduling posts, something that really took a lot of my time during those days. And she actually did it better than me, and that freed up so much of my time. So I didn't have to spend hours on Canva making flyers or editing graphics and post and even scheduling them. So that allowed me to be back into like the business with my clients and focusing on actual money making activities. And that
Yeah.
was the goal, right? That's what we're here for. So that was a turning point where I stopped like being the I do everything person and stepping into like the CEO role of my business. And the whole time, I was like, dang, I should have did this a lot sooner rather than waiting this long.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I mean, you helped me with finding somebody and giving me, because I was the same way. I'm like, nobody's going to do it like me. But
Right.
also, like for me, I'm not a professional editor, right? Like that's I
You're right.
was spending so much time editing to where I didn't want to, from like social media wise, like I didn't want to post because I just didn't want to take the time to edit. YouTube, same thing. So, my partner and I work really well together, and I do appreciate that you helped me do that. We've been working together almost a year. I've only had one guy, and he's doing really well. I also think like you said, like you don't want to go through a ton of people, but it costs money and time to train people. And so it's hard when you're also running a business because it's almost like you're taking on a second job as an employer, I guess, or like a lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But I think you've done a really good job in showing how to manage that and make sure that both parties are on board with what's happening. So
Yeah.
been great. So, a lot of agents hire VAs but struggle to get results. Are there any systems or SOPs that you teach that make a difference between chaos and scaling smoothly?
Yeah. So here's the problem. I think most agents hire and just kind of throw them in the deep end. And it's like, here's my login, figure it out. This is what I like, and things like that. And then they just wonder why it turns into chaos or it doesn't work out for them. And I think that the truth is, VAs don't fail. Agents fail them when they don't have the systems or the training in place. I'm a big advocate for part of my system is training heavily in the beginning, right? So if you think about it, every job out there has some kind of training period. Some are 2 weeks, some are 4 weeks. And so with that in mind, why do we expect a VA just to magically know how to run our business from day one? And I think the truth is that all of the front end legwork is what sets you apart from the agents who are going through multiple VAs versus the one who builds long-term partnerships.
Yeah.
And the key word that I mentioned here is to show them, right? So don't just tell them what to do, give them a list of things to do. You want to show them how to do it. You want to create SOPs that they can follow step by step or walk them through the process live with them during that training time. And when you take time to do that, they're not just guessing, they actually understand how to do the things you want done in the way you want them to be done. So something I do differently also is invest in them as people. So not just as workers. I ask my VAs, like, what do you see yourself doing the next 3 years, the next 5 years? Because just like I have goals for my business, they also have goals for their careers and their lives as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think that I make it a point to help them get there. And when they know that I'm committed to their success, they're committed to mine. And that's how you can keep a VA around for a long time instead of constantly starting over. And this is kind of like how me and my VA got to where we are today. We both had shared our goals in the long, when we first met. And one of her goals was to train virtual assistants. And one of my goals was to do what I'm doing now. And we are partnering together, but she's also an employee of mine, right? So she had other goals and I had goals too. So
and you guys are collaborating basically to build something for agents and for VAs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
Talk a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think it's so great. I think it's much needed. And a lot of agents out there that I talk to, they love the thought of having help and being able to have it done the right way. So definitely setting those expectations is really good. And so you partnered with eXp and the Wolfpack. What made you choose this community, and how has it supported your ability to scale with VAs and even beyond?
Yeah, so when I started looking at eXp, what really caught my attention was the collaboration. I feel like real estate can feel super lonely when it's just you trying to figure everything out, right? And the Wolfpack stood out to me especially because it wasn't just like a raw motivation, like you can do this. It's actual systems, mentorship, and like plug and play training that, especially around social media, which is obviously very important nowadays. So I think that was a big factor that stood out to me. And to be real, I knew that I had to get on social media whether I liked it or not. And it wasn't optional. It wasn't optional anymore, right? I had to fight with myself to get on camera, as you remember. And it's a learning curve, but we're past that. And I knew that I needed the training to get there. So the accountability and the resources to help me get there. And that's exactly what the Wolfpack provided. So I was sold on the environment, the support, the training from the Wolfpack, the leaders there. Everybody here is killing it. So, but as for eXp itself, it supported my business by, keeping more money in my pocket, respectfully, because I don't have all kinds of other fees. However, I don't have to pay like all the crazy fees for a brick and mortar office, right? I really enjoy the fast cap and the fast starts and the fast attract, right? They have a lot of training that they offer. And I've been to 3 other brokerages and none of them have felt or offered this amount of training. And if you remember, I started when I just jumped in and ran. I didn't have the training. I didn't know. I was learning as I go, which we're always learning. But when everything became quiet and everything was like crickets for me in my business is when I was like, dang, like I need training. So I just was like, where can I find that? And at the time, the brokerage I was at was not providing what I needed. So yeah.
Well, we are so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Now with the Wolfpack, as you mentioned, like we're all about collaboration and sharing systems. So how have you plugged your VA expertise into the group, and what value do agents get from being a part of that?
Mm-hmm. So what's been really cool is being able to bring my VA hiring and training processes straight into the Wolfpack. I share the exact templates, like the checklist and the SOPs I use in my business, and stuff that agents can take and implement right away in their business. That alone saves people like lots of time and trial and error. And as you know, I get calls from people in the Wolfpack that are asking questions and picking my brain, or just wanting to like know what's worked for them, what's worked for me. And being in the Wolfpack, we just share everything that we know with each other, right? Like it's just, we're all here to help each other win. So a lot of them are at the stage where they're ready to scale and delegate tasks that they actually so that way they can actually focus on selling and growing, or if they're focusing on attracting. So I'm always happy to help however I can with the Wolfpack, because they've definitely helped me a lot where I'm at today. But one of the things that I've been able to do is pair agents, like we talked about, with other VAs that my agent or that my VA trains personally. So I did all of the back end, or the back end work on my VA, letting her know what's expected, what we look for. And whether people believe it or not, I believe that VAs need to have a understanding of real estate specifically. They need to know the lingo, they need to understand what it's like. And as I was interviewing all the other agents, I realized, or the VAs, they didn't know, and it's fine, I could teach them. My VA didn't know, but because I did that front work, I'm offering to connect with other VAs who are already essentially trained. You just need to show them how to do it in your business.
Yeah.
So they're already knowing all the systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the value that I am able to add back to the Wolfpack, and at the same time, I get values from others and being able to connect with other people.
Yeah, we have such a great community, and same, like I can reach out to anybody, whether they're that are in our organization, in the Wolfpack, and everybody's just so willing to help and share, and it's so great. And you've been wonderful with being able to do that as well. So for an agent who's watching this and overwhelmed, what's the first small step they can take to start creating leverage, whether that's through VAs, systems, or the right community?
Yeah, so if you're an overwhelmed agent, and I just want to say, trust me, I get it, I've been there. Juggling everything feels like nothing's working, and wondering how other agents are actually keeping it together. But the key is not to just try to fix your whole business at once. It's not going to happen, sadly. So here's what I tell agents, right? For 3 days straight, write down every single task that you do, everything. Whether that's updating a lead, sending an email, editing a post, writing a caption, like literally jot it all down. Then what I did, grab a highlighter and mark all the things that actually need you physically. Like you actually physically there for a listing appointment, or actually filming the content, right? You're the face of your business, so you've got to film the content, or even just a buyer's consultation. So once you see that list, you'll notice how many things don't actually need you at all. And that's where you'll start, right? So pick a few of those tasks: editing reels, scheduling social media posts, writing newsletters, and hire someone part-time for just a few hours a week. It's not about handing off your whole business the first day. It's about testing what feels like could buy back a few hours of your week, right? I think after doing that, you'll see how much lighter you feel after even a small handoff. That's when the momentum starts to kick in, and you'll realize, like, okay, you don't have to do it on my own. And that's, I think, something that I would tell new overwhelmed agents, to do first, because that's something that I did. So I think also, the last but not least, plugging into the Wolfpack. We have so much value here, and the leadership that's happening here in the group. So you can learn a lot here. Be prepared.
Yeah, it definitely can be overwhelming, but
Yeah.
I like that. I like that, like, write down everything and really categorize it, right? Like what actually needs you and what doesn't. That's actually a really good way to figure out whether or not it might be time.
Right. Whether or not it might be time, how much, time you're spending here, how many times a day you're doing it, like, and I'm the VA girl. So of course my advice for someone is going to be like how to delegate your business. You don't need to do it all yourself.
Right. Yeah. I agree. So bonus question, last question. Looking ahead, what's your big vision? How do you see VAs, eXp, and the Wolfpack playing into the legacy you're building in real estate?
So I'm a dreamer. I'm a big visionary, but my big vision is, like many others, is to build a business that runs whether I'm there working on it or not. And I don't want a business that relies on me being glued to my phone 24/7. I want to scale with agents and VAs, not just to grow my business, but to create opportunities for others to grow too, right? And that's where delegate and dominate comes in, where by the time people are watching this, I don't know, but it should be out by the time people are watching this. It may not be out. I don't know. You have to check. But
if it's not out, it'll be out soon.
it'll be out soon. But it's designated to fill in like the gaps that shows agents hiring, training, scaling with VAs. And I created it to like give back and add real value, because I know firsthand how having the right systems can move the needle forward in your business, not having to do it all yourself. And eXp and the Wolfpack gave me the platform to impact agents literally nationwide. And while I'm a mom who can relate to other moms juggling everything, this is really for any agent who's ready to free up their time and to be present with our families and to grow our businesses and to live our lives. That's what I say the legacy I'd want to leave in this industry, is showing agents how to stop surviving in their business and actually like thriving in it.
I love that. Well, I am so grateful that you were able to share that today. And so, Briana, thank you for showing us how creating leverage through systems and community can completely change an agent's career. Your story has such a powerful example of how collaboration and the right tools can create freedom. And for those of you watching, if you got value from this interview, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments, hit the like button, and subscribe so you don't miss future agent success stories. And if you're ready to build leverage in your business through systems, mentorship, and the Wolfpack community, click the link in the description to book a private call with Briana and myself, and let's start building your path to freedom and growth. I will also have all of Briana's information linked in the description below so you can follow her as well. And thank you again, Briana, for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Meg. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.